Hi, I'm Jeremy with social media team here at the Creation Museum, and I'm with Buddy Davis. But this is super secret, so don't tell anyone that we're on live stream with Buddy Davis, because if you do, then everyone will want to watch, and then we might even crash the Facebook servers. So, shh. And this is super secret. Sculpting dinosaurs? I mean, really, if those dinosaurs get out, then that would be crazy. Anyway, Buddy.
Yes.
So we are here talking about sculpting dinosaurs specifically for the Equipping Families Conference. I hear there are 2 workshops that you're doing during this time. What are they?
That's right. We're doing one sculpturing class for the younger boys and girls, and they'll be sculpturing the head of this guy right here, only a lot smaller what they'll be making. I'll show you how this is done a little bit. This is a Lambeosaurus, and this is a life-size head of this particular dinosaur. If I had all of his body, he'd be about 50 feet long. You know what? That's about 10 feet longer than Tyrannosaurus rex would be, so this is a big guy. And the whole idea for the younger people, we're going to tie the dinosaurs into the dragon legends, and I believe that at least some of the dinosaurs fit in very well to what people used to call dragons many years ago. And the reason many years ago they didn't call them dinosaurs because the word dinosaur wasn't even invented yet. Used to be when they found the bones of these guys, they would call them dragon bones many times. And I think it fits very well. So we're going to have that teaching. And the second part of the workshop, since I'm an artist and I sculpture dinosaurs, I'm going to let them sculpture and take home a head of Lambeosaurus. You want me to show you what they're going to be making?
Well, I'll tell you what, I definitely want that, but I'm a little nervous because I'm near its mouth, and I feel like I could fit in its mouth pretty well. Is this an herbivore, or...
Yeah, you wouldn't have to be worried of this guy, I think. I've never seen a live one to know for sure what he would eat, but most scientists believe that he would just be a plant eater, so he'd probably be pretty harmless unless he'd step on you.
Okay, well, I'm a little bit relieved being near its mouth, but of course, if it was before the curse and Adam and Eve, everyone ate plants, so then you wouldn't be concerned whatsoever. But it's after the curse, so I am still a little nervous. All right, anyway, yeah, if you could show me, that'd be great.
Right, yeah. After the teaching we get done, then we're going to let them sculpture this guy right here. And this is what they'll get. And this is a drawing of a Lambeosaurus. And this is they're going to make this head right here. Want me to show you a little bit how we do this?
I would love that.
Okay, so I'm going to give them it's a kit. It's got clay in it. It's got a couple straws for scales, and we got an eye in there. And we don't have time to do the whole thing, but very quickly, this is a lot of fun. I mean, we have people from 7 years old to 87-year-old doing this project with us here at the Creation Museum, and folks just have a lot of fun. You know what? It didn't happen by chance. That's the idea. When they see this, it's all done, they'll realize somebody had to design this. It did not happen just on its own. It took some thought to do this. So first thing I'm going to do is you take a little bit of this clay. This is an oil-based clay. It's the same type of clay that I sculpture some of the dinosaurs, the life-size models at the Creation Museum. So I'll put a little bit in where his eye is going to be. I'm going to use this bead. That's going to be his eye. You see that right there? Got to make sure it can see out of him, all right? And we put the bead in right there for the eye. Now, we got him where he can see, so we got a good start on this dinosaur. You can look around now. Next, what we do is we put clay all on the inside of the lines. And just like this here, little pieces of clay. This is so much fun.
And this workshop is for ages 4 to 12?
4 to 12, yeah. And we'll have volunteers that will be with us that will help somebody get stuck. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time doing this. This would take about 20 to 30 minutes to finish this whole project, so we sure don't have time to do that. But what you do, once you get it all outlined, the clay all on the outline of it right here, like I've got it started, you can see, then you take your fingers, your hands are a great sculpturing tool, and you just start to smooth that out like that there and fill it in. So I'd put some more clay in there and we'll smooth that out. You build this dinosaur up, you're actually sculpturing. So this is a real sculpturing class. This is not Play-Doh. This is the real deal. This is what we use here when I'm building some of my models. And
so
same principle.
What is this material then?
That's a plasticine clay, which is an oil-based clay. You don't bake this clay. And it never gets hard. It can be used over and over again. But this is the way it looks for a Lambeosaurus. They're called hatchet heads. That's a nickname for them because the head kind of looks like a hatchet. And they're hadrosaur dinosaurs. So they're duck-billed dinosaurs. Here's what it looks like when it's all done. It'll look like this right here. That's a model that I finished up. And it just gives you an idea. This is again, this dinosaur is about 50 feet long if it's going to completely grow.
And that detail on there, I mean, you're using these tools to be able to make some of that detail.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for like the scales, like see if I can put another piece on here just really fast so you get an idea what we're doing. Of course, I'd work on the eye and stuff like this right here. And they had a big brow over their eye, kind of like this right here. And everything you do to these models makes them look just a little bit better, so we're going to outline its eye. I'm trying to work really fast here. I'd like to spend a little bit more time on it, but we get an idea. There's that big brow. I'd like a little bit bigger brow. And you do this over this inside of the lines of this whole drawing, so it's pretty easy to do, but yet it's a real sculpturing class. Now, let's put some scales on. So if I had clay over this whole thing, I go ahead and put the scales on. This is just a straw. You don't press the straw in really hard because if you did plug the straw up, then you got to get your toothpick and clean it out, and that's no fun.
Sounds like you've done that before. You've been there.
Yes, sir. You bet. So like right here, you put the scales on. I hope you can see that. And we got different size straws because not all the scales would be the same. So I don't know if you can see how good that shows up or not. But here, like around the eyes and stuff, where we'd probably be smaller scales in around that area.
Yeah, it's showing up well in the video.
Okay, very good. And then you do creases and stuff with the toothpick. And this is the way we do some of the dinosaurs at the Creation Museum here when I'm in the studio building the models. Put some creases around the eye. And again, that's just a real quick idea of what the boys and girls will be doing. And when they're done, it'll look like this right here, and they'll get to take that home with them. This will not air dry. It always stays a little bit soft, so they can use this clay again to do another project on down the road if they want to make something else or they want to do it again.
So is this is still soft then?
No, I used another material to do this because I pass this around and I show people this is what you're trying to make. Okay, so this is hard. So this is an epoxy right here, but it's done the very same way. All right. Now there's for the young folks. That's what we'll be doing.
Now it was a workshop that is for ages 4 to 12 during the Equipping Families to Stand conference with Buddy Davis, and he's going to be showing you how to sculpt this dinosaur here. But there's another workshop for teens.
Yeah, for teens. This is for the older boys and girls, and we're going to start off. I'm going to show them in a PowerPoint presentation how I build life-size dinosaurs. And so the whole idea is it didn't happen by chance. It took some thought to build these dinosaurs, and you could have an explosion in a fiberglass factory and these dinosaurs would never turn out. It shows that you had to design it. And when you get this done, this is just a little clay model, but anybody would see that somebody built it. And the idea is how much more so does it demand that we have a creator when you see the real animal that had a real skeleton that is very complex, and then not only do you have the skeleton inside the chest cavity, you have a heart that's beating, and it boggles the mind to think that happened by chance. But not only that, certain group of cells couldn't be any cell. Those cells had to know how to make lungs, and then while that heart's beating, those lungs had better start going, better start breathing. Had a brain that could think. Anybody that believes in evolution would see the model that they're going to make. They'd realize it had a designer. It didn't happen by chance. But they look at the real animal that's complex, like I just described, and they say that happened by chance. It's given millions of years. And it's not consistent. It's no wonder God says you're without excuse for not believing. So that's a teaching that I want to do. And once they do that, then they're going to have a little bit more harder sculpture to do than what this would be. It's small, but it's very articulated, and it takes some work to build. They're going to make a head of this dinosaur right here. When you start off with the clay, be using the same type of clay right here, and you take the clay. How am I doing on time? I'm all right here for you?
Yeah, you're doing fine.
Okay, so take the clay and we start making how we want this dinosaur to look. So you're using your hands. Your hands are a great sculpturing tool. Okay, and we'd start making the frill that's famous for Triceratops. Okay. And when you're all done, for time's sake, this is what it's going to start looking like right here. It's still not what we want it to be. It looks pretty rough at this stage right here, but you know, everything you do to them is going to make them look a little bit better. So I'd start working here on his mouth a little bit and getting it a little bit better shape.
Now, if
And then this is what it looks like when it's done, okay?
and again, you use some of the same tools that you used for this other sculpture here with.
Yeah, I did. On this one right here, I used, since it's small, I used a toothpick to put in some of these scales right here. I think it makes it look really cool. We used a bead, a different type of an eye to put into this model. But it gives you a general idea on how we build dinosaurs. And for this one here, I used the smaller straw to put into scales. When I'm doing some of my models at the Creation Museum, these are the same principles that I use here. I have different ways of doing it, of course, but sometimes I'll use these methods right here. So all kinds of ways of doing it. So that's what they'll be making. I like it. I think the teens will enjoy seeing how well they can make this dinosaur. So I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I'm very interested just learning about this. I had no idea we had workshops like this.
Yeah.
So this workshop, there are 2 workshops at the Equipping Families to Stand conference. There's the one for the young people, the ages 4 through 12, and they're going to be sculpting this guy right here. And then there's another workshop for the teens during the Equipping Families to Stand conference, and they're going to be sculpting this guy right here. So I encourage you to check out more information about Equipping Families to Stand. There's so much more. There are different things like camel rides, live animal shows for children and adults as well during this time, and also great teaching, be able to show just in the teaching here, and then also in the conference as well. In the media, it is very, very saturated with dinosaurs, millions of years, chance, and as you were saying. And so this is going to really give you a good foundation for the right foundation, starting on God's Word.
Yep. Amen to that. I agree 100%. I'm excited about getting to meet all the folks, and we'll get our pictures taken with a lot of the boys and girls. That'll be fun, and so we're just looking forward to meeting everybody, and I'm sure they'll have a great time.
So you get to meet Buddy Davis, and so I encourage you to come, learn more about it. We're pinning the link here in the live stream so you can click, learn more. And even if you can't come during this time, we have workshops regularly for the kids. You put on various workshops for the kids.
I do a workshop every day when I'm in town here, and they sculpture a dinosaur, and we have right now we're talking about dragons and how dragons fit into the biblical framework, and give them a foundation that we're often told that dragons are not real, just mythical creatures. That's what we've been told, but we show that dragon legends are found all over the world. How did so many people all over the world have legends about dragons? So what could these creatures be? And we tie it in with different types of reptiles, and some of them would be dinosaurs. Some of the flying dragons are probably what we call pterodactyls, and the stories are told and retold. It gets blown out of proportion. Pretty soon you see a flying dragon like you see in the movies. Probably in reality, what people were seeing back in those days would be what we call pterodactyls. And we've been told by the most evolutionists that pterodactyls lived and died millions of years before people were here. So I like to say, who should we trust first? The scientists who change their mind on these issues almost every week, or should we trust God, who never changes, who was there and give us a record of it? And when it's checked out fairly and honestly, which it hardly ever is, but when it is, I believe creation wins hands down. It makes far more sense.
And it's your starting point, what you believe, that influences the way you see things. If God's Word is true, then what am I going to see? Or if there is no God, then what I'm going to see? And we will see that the Bible being true, and God really exists. He created everything. What are you going to see? And that is much more consistent than what you see the other point of view.
Yeah. Either you believe everything happened by an explosion that happened millions of years ago, and we can't tell you where the ingredients from that explosion come from if you have the evolutionary view.
Right.
But in the beginning was God, and was the Word, and the Word was God. And the Word is God. Mm-hmm. He but spoke, and it is done. And when you look at that and you see how complex everything is and how it all fits together, wow, it's hands down, God is the creator.
So this is the type of teaching that you need for adults to be able to equip them, to be able to teach their children. It's something that I personally need, but then also for our children as well, to be able to teach them. So anyway, encourage you to learn more. Thank you so much for your time, buddy. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you there.